What up, guys? Thank you for joining me again this week. Once again, it's Larry Williams, OAW Commander-in-Chief, and I'm here to bring you another weekly Game of Thrones review right here on Otaku Assemble! Weekly. Thank you for joining me again this week. As always, I'm here to bring you my weekly reviews of this week's Game of Thrones episode. So, go ahead and remove my toothpick right quick. Before I begin the review, I just want to throw this out here. Something that has been bothering me since last week. Just need to get it off my chest right quick. When I turn off the comments in the Game of Thrones reviews, that does not mean for you guys to inbox me your comments. I'm not talking about the messages that I receive where it's like, hey, Larry, I just saw your Game of Thrones review. I just want to say that your reviews are awesome, and I really like that you do this, this, and that. I'm not talking about those. No, those are PMs. Those are personal messages, and that's what the inbox is for. Those messages are always welcome, and they're greatly appreciated. I'm talking about the messages that sound like they belong in the comment section of the video. Those are the messages I'm talking about. Okay? And the corrections. That's another thing. See? Now, let's call an ace and a spade, and a goose, a geese, a duck, a duck. No one likes being corrected. But what I'm saying is, whenever you guys are watching my video and you feel the need to correct me, don't. Why? Because I guarantee you someone already has. I can't tell you how many messages I got last week that were corrections. Oh, and for the record, this is a very appropriate song right now. I'm going to go ahead and turn that up right quick. Get it, you're an outcast. Shine Down, Sound of Madness. Love that fucking album. Anyway, but yes, the corrections. It's a bit of a buzzkill. I've been told multiple times from people that the whole allure and attraction to my reviews is the fact that they're from a fresh perspective, they're a first impression, they're straight off the cuff. If I knew all these facts, would they really be that? Would these reviews be as entertaining? Honestly, if you guys want to know what I'm talking about, go and watch my fucking anime and manga reviews. Like my Naruto anime reviews. You know how fucking critical I am on those things? Because I know everything. I'm just saying. Okay. I'm done. I'm 3 minutes into this vid. Let's get on with the review. So, this is the 4th episode of the first season. I'm not sure what the episode title is, but I'm going to go ahead and do this review like I've been doing pretty much, I think, the last 2 ones, where instead of trying to keep up with the sequence of events that occurred in the episode as they occurred, I'm going to do the review based off of location because it helps me organize it and remember things that took place in the story better in the episode. So, all right, so yeah, so King's Landing. Okay, let's start off in King's Landing. What's been going on in King's Landing since last week's episode? This is what's been going on. Pretty much, Ned has now begun his investigation of what happened to the former hand. For some reason, oh god, I forgot his name. I know it's John. I believe it's John something with an A. I can't remember his full name, but pretty much Ned's begun his investigation of what happened to the former king's hand, and pretty much with the assistance of Littlefinger, who I am really enjoying as a character right now, especially after this episode. I'm really enjoying Littlefinger. But we find out that his investigation leads him to 2 people that I think are worth mentioning. Number one is apparently he is King Robert's bastard son. And Ned was able to based off of what the boy told him and just looking at him, he was able to tell, like, oh shit, that's King Robert's bastard son. But he's a blacksmith apprentice right now, I believe. And apparently he He's one of the breadcrumbs. It seems like there's breadcrumbs that's been left behind. You know, I mean, after the King's Hand was murdered, it seems like he left a trail for somebody to pick up on. So that kid is one of the breadcrumbs. The other is a knight who goes by the name of, I believe it was, Lord Snap. Give me a minute. I'm really trying not to look him up online. Cause his name is on the tip of my tongue and I just can't remember it. But they called him, what was it? The Lord of the Vale or Knight of the Vale. He was another one of those puzzle pieces, one of the breadcrumbs to try and figure out what happened to the King's Hand. And, yeah, he gets murked in this episode. Homeboy gets killed in the jousting match that takes place later in the episode. Murked him by the Hound's brother. Now tell me that wasn't a setup. No, bullshit. No, we need to talk about this. That was a setup. I'm sorry, but the second we as the audience found out that the knight that was jousting, the guy who was jousting the knight who I'm talking about, was the Hound's brother, and then he winds up getting killed in the jousting match? A splintered lance to the neck? Come on, man. That's a fucking setup. They did that shit on purpose because they knew that Ned was on their ass. They knew Ned was on their ass and he was coming for him. They set that shit up and killed him. Boy. Man, King's Landing is so fucking corrupt right now. Seriously. Also in the episode, there's a conversation between Ned and Littlefinger when they're walking through the little courtyard, and he pretty much tells him, yo, you know the queen has spies on you, right? But he also lets him know that, hey, I got some spies too. So Littlefinger, I feel, is, before, I had this feeling that he was going to be a somewhat of a meddlesome ally. But man, it looks like I think he's an essential ally. Like Ned needs this man's help. I think he will. But one has to wonder. You know, we learned in last week's episode about, you know, Littlefinger's relationship with Lady Stark and that type of thing. But to be aiding Ned the way he is, or the way that he appears to be turning against the Lannisters, working against them the way he is, I want to know what else is going on in that brilliant mind of his. Like, I don't want to be too judgmental too early, but I'm almost positive that he has alternative motives, and I want to know what those are. So while I'm loving Littlefinger right now, and I think he's a cool fucking character, and he's a great and essential ally to the Starks, at the same time, I got to keep my eye on him. I have to keep my eye on him. Okay, so what else did we see in King's Landing? We saw fucking King Robert. King Robert is such a fucking pig. Seriously, he is too stereotypical of what you would think of a king. He's fat. He's a drunken. He screws more than a jackrabbit. All he is a brute. He's a brute. I have yet to see this man act like a leader. I'm not talking about a king. Anybody can be a king. You know, that whole divine right to rule bullshit. Which wasn't the case with Robert. He actually had to win his throne. But I have yet to see him act like a ruler, like a leader, like someone I should pledge my allegiance to. I'm sorry, but I understand the whole, believe it or not, to say that I'm American, I'm an American citizen and, you know, we live in a democracy. I understand the mentality and the concept behind monarchy, but at the same time, I have a problem with authority. Please don't think any less of me, but I've just always had that problem since I was little. I've always had a problem with authority, but I especially have a problem with authority that I feel do not deserve my allegiance. And I'm sorry, I'm not going to give you my allegiance just because you claim to be a king. No. Ned has acted more of a king than Robert has. So, and it's Mark Addy, man. I love that actor. I love his work, but his character is just he's too typical. He's too typical. He's just too typical. So let's see, what else did we see? A scene between the Queen and Ned, which was man, it's man, you could feel it. It's building up to this great confrontation between the Starks and the Lannisters. Last week it was Jaime and Ned. This time it was make sure I pronounce this right. I think it's Cersei is how you pronounce it. But it was, you know, her and Ned. You know, it's like the line is slowly but surely being drawn in the sand, and soon it's going to when it comes to blows, when the shit hits the fan, it's going to be awesome. And speaking of which, another event that took place in this episode between the Starks and the Lannisters, I'm going to say for the end of this review because that was the cliffhanger for next week's episode. Okay, so what else happened in King's Landing worth mentioning? Of course, we saw the Stark girls again. Character development. Arya, the conversation with her and Ned when he told her like, oh, one day you'll be a great lady and you'll marry a high lord and you'll have sons who are knights and princes and lords. And she told him simply, no, that's not me. I love that about her. I love that about her character so much. I dig it. I dig the black sheep characters. I dig those I dig characters. I dig people who rebel against conformity. They go against the social norm. They go against what's expected for them. You know? I fucking dig that so much. Man. And then you have and then Sansa, who she is one of my least favorite characters. As a matter of fact, she is probably like my second least favorite character on the show. Because, I mean, like, in my second episode review, I talked about, the Lannisters. Like, I can't stand any of them. But, with that said, the Lannisters are also the type of villains that I like. Like, they make good villains. Like, Jaime, I like him as a villain. He's a good villain. Cersei, she's a good villain. Sansa is probably right behind the prince as my two least favorite characters. Because I hate both of them. I really do not like Sansa at all. I hate her. Okay, that might have been a little harsh, but seriously, I fucking hate her character. But okay, so I'm trying to think, what else happened in King's Landing that's worth mentioning? I think that might have done it for King's Landing. So north onto the Wall, where this week, okay, the Nightwatch got a new recruit, a guy named Sam, and Sam, I mean, he's a rather large fellow, and he's a coward, simple and plain. He's a coward. You can tell that he's been picked on his whole life. He's very submissive. He doesn't stick up for himself. And it shows. And what happens? Good old fucking Jon Snow, man. He took up for the guy. He took up for him. He defended him. He said, "Hey, y'all not messing with this guy anymore." I got to tell you, man, Jon Snow is probably my favorite character in the show right now. I think this week he passed up Ned as my favorite because he is such a fucking cool character. Let me turn this down a bit because it was getting loud in my ear. But okay, before I get into my Jon Snow discussion, I'm just going to finish telling you guys what happened in Winterfell. I mean, not Winterfell, at the Wall, excuse me. We haven't gone to Winterfell yet. I'm going to work my way down. We're going to go to the north, going to work our way back down. Okay. Now, at the Wall, like I said, the new recruit, Sam, he comes in and off the gate, like I said, because of who he is, because of his character, because of his appearance, because he's a coward, he immediately gets picked on. Off the gate, just off the jump, straight out the gate, he gets picked on. And Snow took up for him. And that is such a noble fucking thing. Like, honestly, like, we're talking about a place where literally no one really has to stick up for anybody. I mean, for the most part, everyone is in this brotherhood mostly out of obligation. Why would anyone ever stick their neck out for somebody else? But man, Snow took up that mantle, man. He did, and he told him, he said, hey man, you got to defend yourself. You got to stick up for yourself. But he also said, he also said, you know what? You're one of us now, and you're one of us now. You're a brother in arm, and I got your back, man. Anybody got a problem with you, they got a problem with me, and I fucking dig that about him, man. I mean, the conversation they had on the Wall when pretty much we learned why Sam joined the Nightwatch, which was pretty much his father just basically disowned him, and he had nothing else. He had nothing left. And, you know, Snow understood that. He understood that completely. And man, and then the scene when they caught the guy while he was sleeping, and fucking Snow's direwolf was on the dude's chest. That fucking Snow White wolf with them red eyes. I was like, oh my fucking God. Like, that's the coolest fucking thing ever. That was so fucking cool. And then, okay, so segueing into my, further into my Snow discussion, the scene in the mess hall where pretty much Sam and Snow are talking, and they're talking about girls, and we pretty much learn about like Snow's first time with a woman, which it didn't go the way you would think, and he explained why. And you know what? I knew the answer. I knew why he didn't sleep with that girl before he said it. The second he said he didn't do it, I knew immediately why. Because he did not want to bring another bastard into this world. And I fucking dig that about his character, man. Snow is such a noble fucking character. I'm talking about a noble character. His integrity, his sense of honor is so high. Like, I love that. I love Snow's character so fucking much right now. He's so relatable to me. He's so relatable on so many levels. Just that thing about him and his, his identity, it echoes so many parallels. But what I like most about Snow, I mentioned it last week, and I'll also go into it this. Snow is the type of character where despite all of his flaws, despite all of his insecurities, despite all of the things that's going on with him emotionally and mentally, he holds himself up to such a high standard. He makes himself so much better than the world would expect him to be. Like, and that is so noble. It's so idealistic that it's almost unreal. It's so hard to find people like that in real life. It really is, He is such a fucking great character, man. Okay, so for the sake of the review, I'm going to go ahead and skip Winterfell. I'm going to head south right quick, and we're going to come back to Winterfell, and I'm going to tell you why. Okay, let's head south right quick, where it looks like the Dothraki horde, I think they've reached their home. Like, they've made it back to their home, which I didn't get the name of it, but that was pretty much signaled by the giant horse statues at the gate. But the Targaryen siblings, I love Daenerys right now so much. I love her so much right now because she finally took it to her brother. He came in there popping that shit. He hit her. And she pretty much told him, she said, the next time you raise your hand to me, you won't have one. You're going to be pulling back a nub. I was like, yes! Yes! She's finally sticking up to her fucking brother, and I am loving this so much. Fucking right. I was hoping that she was going to kick his ass in the nuts. I forget what she did exactly. Because they did have like a little scrap, because he hit her, but she didn't let that shit fly. But I forget exactly what it was she did. Should have kicked his ass in the nuts. Should have kicked him in his nuts and then kicked him in the face. But man, I am loving her character so much, and I'm really hoping she something that was said in this episode. She was talking to oh god, I can't remember the guy's name, but it's pretty much like her I guess you can call him her number two. But anyway, she was talking to him, and she said he asked her if she wanted to see her brother on the Iron Throne, and she said, "No, I don't." She said, and I quote, "I do not think my brother can lead a Dothraki army, or any army for that matter." And you know what I was wishing she would have said? I wanted her to say that I don't think my brother can lead a Dothraki army, or any army for that matter. But I think I can. I hope and pray. I am hoping that if, in fact, you know, the big clash between the Dothraki and the you know, the other seven kingdoms, if that comes to blows, I am hoping that she is one of the people in charge of that fucking attack. Her and Khal Drogo tag teaming that shit. Oh man, that would be so awesome. I don't want to see her brother in charge of nothing. Why? Because he's a bitch. He's a bitch, and goddamn, I'm sorry, no offense and no pun intended, but she has a bigger sack than her brother. So that's why, like, I really hope that she's taking control of her role as Khaleesi, and I'm hoping that her role in the story just keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Because I mean, even after the season premiere, after the first episode, they showed like previews for the season, and there was a scene where her, Ned, and Robert were all in the same room talking. So I'm waiting for that fucking episode. I'm like, oh man, like, yeah, come on, man, let's do this. All right, so let's head back north up to Winterfell, where pretty much Tyrion, him and his little entourage, you know, heading back to King's Landing. He passed through Winterfell, you know, hoping to stay there to be well welcomed and all that jazz. But what he found was Robb, who is right now acting as Lord Stark while Ned is in King's Landing. And I'm telling you, I love Robb. Well, I like Robb a lot, just mainly because of the role he plays in the story. You know, he's the big brother figure. I've always liked big brother figures. I mean, just to use like anime and manga examples of what type of character I'm talking about. Like for anyone who's a fan or who has ever seen Inuyasha, Shishomaru is like one of my favorite characters. Why? Because he's that big brother figure. Bleach, Byakuya, once again the big brother figure. Naruto, Itachi, the big brother figure. DBZ, when Goten came along, Gohan became a big brother figure. I just like big brother characters. So Robb assuming that throne assuming the role of Lord Stark was really cool. I really like that. And he pretty much told Tyrion off. He told him. He told his ass off. He's like, yeah, you're not welcomed here. And of course, you know, we had Tyrion tried to, like, you know, he tried his nice little, you know, finesse and finagle with Bran to try to make him feel better about his current situation. But let's face it, you sent a fucking assassin after that dude. You tried to kill that kid. Fuck you, dude. Seriously, that's a child, man. That's a child. But he got it. But his ass got it. Why? Because the cliffhanger for this episode, Tyrion showed up in an inn out not too far outside of Winterfell, and he ran into Lady Stark, who was there. And what I thought was Lady Stark going around the... I thought when Lady Stark went around the tavern, pretty much, you know, addressing all these people, she recognized all these fellow lords and noblemen and whatnot, countrymen, you know, friends, friends, countrymen, northerners, lend me your ears, you know. I thought she was doing that to prove a point to Tyrion that, you know, don't try any shit while you're at this inn because I'm well protected. But no, she called on them motherfuckers to capture that bastard, to seize him, to haul his ass back to Winterfell, to approach trial for trying to kill Bran. And I was like, fucking right. Stick it to that motherfucker. God. Yeah. Fucking right. And I hope he gets what's coming to him. That's fucked up, man. You tried to kill a 10-year-old, man. I'm sorry. I like Tyrion, but no, man. You tried to kill a child. And I'm sorry, but I don't give a damn what anybody says. Bran and what he knew did not pose that much of a threat to the Lancasters. That was bullshit. Complete and utter bullshit. I'm looking at my camera right now. I hope this video isn't out of sync. It looks like it will be, because it looks like it's recording out of sync. I don't give a damn. Because I just went for almost a half an hour ad nauseum about this episode, but it's a really good episode. And yeah. Well, so yeah, that's where we left off for this episode. I won't talk about the preview for next. I won't talk about the preview for next week's episode. Why? Because if I talked about the preview for next week's episode, you'd have no reason to check out this review next week, now would you? So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna leave this video off right there. Guys, thanks for joining me again this week. Comment, rate, subscribe as always. Just for shits and giggles, I think I'll go ahead and I'll leave the comments open on this video. Chances are I probably won't even read the comments, but for those of you guys who just feel the need to comment, by all means, knock yourselves dead. And to anybody who watches this review who just, if you want to, holler at me, by all means, inbox me. Let's see, what else is going on? I got an update vid for my channel that I'm probably going to record and post tomorrow. But other than that, thanks for joining me again this week. I will all of my all of my viewers who watch all of my other vids, I will catch you guys Thursday with this week's manga review. And for you guys who just, catch the Game of Thrones reviews, I will catch you cats later. This is Larry Williams, OAW Commander-in-Chief. I'm signing off, and yeah, peace.